One.
Absolutely.
Very productive.
Absolutely. As long as I'm next to this fine creature, it's a good week. To God be the glory. All right. We don't want to give y'all too much stuff, because, but come on and let us know where you're streaming from.
Yes.
Come on, let us know where you are streaming from.
I'm curious to know who has their Christmas tree up. Now that Thanksgiving is over, who has their Christmas tree up? I've shamelessly had my Christmas tree up for almost a month now, or has it been a month?
It's been close to a month. It seems like as soon as November hit, you started getting really Christmassy.
Yeah. I think I started putting my tree up Halloween, the 31st.
Well, that's a better celebration than Halloween. So
hey,
we'll take that.
Celebrate the birth of Jesus.
Come on.
All right. So tonight we have an awesome topic.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about the 5 different types of infidelity or cheating. So the 5 different types of cheating.
It was interesting. I did a sermon a couple weeks ago or so, give or take. And one of the questions I asked in dating is, what do you define as cheating? Mm-hmm. And from that, this topic came forth, and Charmaine said, we should actually talk about what different types of cheating is, what people define as cheating. So,
and this is a great conversation to have, because if you're married and you've never had this conversation, this is a great conversation to have. Shameless plug, if you go to Jomo and Charmaine.com, you can get a free ebook conversation starter book. So if you have not gone on our website, please check out our website. You can get a free ebook there. It's called Conversation Starters. But this is a great conversation to have, even if you're dating, because you want to know what the other person defines cheating as, because if their definition and your definition is different, then you could have serious problems.
A misunderstanding.
A big misunderstanding. So you want to definitely define this in your relationship.
Well, as we jump in, my name is Jomo.
I'm Charmaine.
And we come together on Friday nights with real, raw, and relevant conversation dealing with relationships. So tonight, we're going to talk about the 5 types of potential cheating.
Right.
Number
one is a big one. Sexual infidelity is the worst to me, because it's physical.
Yes.
It's intercourse.
And the Bible speaks about this to not when you mix bodies together sexually. Mm-hmm. It's not just a physical transfer. It's a spiritual transfer. Right. And especially if you're married, the Bible calls you a fool.
Right.
Because you are really setting yourself up for failure. Now, obviously, we should not have premarital sex. Some have done, and we've made mistakes. So we're not coming to you from a judgmental place, just for wisdom and insight. But we have to be very mindful. And this is the most obvious case of adultery, having sex outside the marriage, infidelity. Right. And this ultimately is the most damaging.
And we did it wasn't an article we read, it was actually a video that we saw on pair bonding, and how when a woman actually has so many sexual partners, it's very hard for her to connect with the person that God brought to her, because she has so many, and they didn't talk about,
there's a number.
Go ahead.
They
didn't talk about the spiritual aspect of it, but they just talked about you as a person become less. It's harder to connect with other people when you connect with so many people.
Correct. It's also very similar to military, whereas they can desensitize from certain aspects. And I've learned recently to call it body count. What's your body count?
Wow.
And body count just means how many people have you slept with. Mm-hmm. Now, I'd be very judicious in who you tell this to. If you have a higher, whatever that is. You should be mindful that the more encounters you have, the more difficult it will be to find the one.
Right.
There is no perfect one, but just a better one.
Right. All right. So number 2, emotional infidelity. This is a difficult one, because this can sneak up on you, I feel like. If you are helping someone go through an emotional season and you become their emotional support person, it can lead to other things. You open the door for the enemy to come into your relationship in a different way, because you become closer to a person when you share Maybe they lost a loved one, they're grieving for some reason. Maybe they're going through a time in their life where they're having some mental health crisis, and you're helping them get through, and you become closer through that. And you're now spending more time, and you're being more of an emotional support to this person than you are your spouse.
It's funny that this is a very big problem in psychology. When people go to a psychologist or psychiatrist, but I'm not quite sure which one, and they open themselves up and confide in the person, oftentimes this thing turns into relationships.
Right.
Should not, but something happens.
You're sharing the most intimate parts of yourself.
Correct. And so you have to be very careful if you are in a married and committed relationship, who you share your secrets with, especially of the opposite sex. Because I think Steve Harvey said this, most men have a goal. Now, women do too, but I'm just saying from his perspective, okay?
Right.
A man will be your emotional support system.
And it's a way for him to get in without being aggressive about it.
Correct.
Because you start out as a friend.
Yes.
And supporting them.
And then
through
and then you say, "Leg, put your head on my shoulder."
And then you crying.
Yes,
and then they're rubbing.
Yes, put your head on my shoulder. Just relax. Just I know you've been through a tough time.
Yes, I have.
Yes.
I have.
And before you know it, it's a misunderstanding.
Right.
So you have to be very careful who you share your heart with.
Right.
Because ultimately emotions are from the heart.
And sometimes we could brush it off with our spouse, like, oh, I'm trying to help them through a difficult time. And, it's one thing to help same sex through a difficult time by spending extra time with them in that type of way. But the opposite sex, that should be a no-go.
You are opening yourself up to problems.
Right. So we talked about sexual infidelity. We talked about emotional infidelity. Number 3 is romantic infidelity. Now, a lot of people may think, oh, that's the same thing as sexual infidelity. Not so. Romantic infidelity is spending time with the person. You could be dating someone without having sexual intercourse with them. You could be flirting with a person without having sexual intercourse. You just go to a restaurant or go to a bar or you're out with your friends and you're flirting with people. You're just flirting with, and it makes you feel good because it's a confidence booster, right?
No, absolutely.
But you're cheating on your spouse because you're looking for something that maybe you're not getting at home in someone else. And that becomes a problem.
Like words of affirmation,
right?
Encouragement,
right?
compliments.
You look good, Jomo. How's everything going? Oh, I heard you had a new book. What is it called? How to Hear. Is this your new book? Oh, wow! You look so handsome on the cover.
Too much.
Did your wife pick this up? Oh, and they'll mention your spouse like it's all good. They're letting you know that they know, but it's all good because you're safe with me, right? And then it just goes someplace else, and you're really cheating on your spouse. You're romantically cheating on your spouse.
And some people seem to want to engage with that kind of activity and like it.
Right. And they think it's innocent. It's not a big deal. Correct.
You have to be careful. You just have to be very careful, especially because people give you compliments, and if you're not careful, you will position yourself to go back to the place where you like those words being spoken about you.
It says dining, flirting, exploring emotional intimacy.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
All right. Number 4, intellectual infidelity.
To me, this sounds like when people say, "This is my work wife."
Yeah.
Because
they share the same political views, they share the same thoughts, and maybe share the same hobbies. You share the same interests. So
anytime you spend a lot of time with a particular person,
right,
at any space,
right,
the potential is there for combustibility, a fire. We've seen over and over again in the world how bosses and co-workers,
because you're spending so much time together.
Remember, we knew a person that went on a travel trip or something like that, and they went through they noticed something was different, and it was just people traveled together. And you have to be careful with anybody that you spend a lot of time with is capable of they become an influencer in your life. Absolutely.
And you depend on them for certain things because they're always there and they're always around.
Yeah.
It's just like, we have to be so careful. If you think about it, how much time your child spends at school, how important that teacher is, and how much we depend on the teachers to communicate well to us and teach our kids the right things, because they're spending so much time with them. They become that child's mentor, influencer.
Yeah.
Same thing with your work staff or coworkers. They become that person. So you have to make sure you and your husband draw a line saying like, hey, these are things we won't do. These are things that, we're okay with as a couple. You have to talk about these things. You have to have a conversation.
Barriers.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. And the last one, and I think this may be the most common
nowadays,
most dangerous area is cyber cheating.
Right.
This is where you engage with conversations. Now, this is how it starts off innocently. Now, I don't know if it's innocent or not, but this is how it starts off. This is what happened in my life. Okay, this is my story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And not cheating per se.
Well, that's what we talk about.
I know, but I'm telling you how a person gets caught up.
Okay.
A person reaches out to you for assistance, spiritual guidance. Okay. And then you say, okay, how can I help? And then they say you look good. And also you start seeing a turn in the direction. If you're not careful, if you don't cut that off, you can fall right into something thinking that you were trying to be an assistant, but before you know it, you got, they're going to call fishnet, something like that, something like that. This of it is, you have to be careful online, because you may be innocent, but some are not.
Catfish.
There it is, something like that, some kind of fish. But I
don't even know what that means per se. I thought it meant that when you get catfish, they're not being honest with you as far as what they look like. So they're showing you one picture, but they really aren't that.
That's probably it. I was thinking, I don't know what it's called per se, but I do know that sometimes a lot of people have gotten caught up online.
Let us know if you know in the comment section what catfish is.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. Because, and I see this happen all the time where people from high school or college reach out to them on social media. How you doing?
Right. Oh, you're looking good. Your family's beautiful.
There it is.
Are you happily married?
Oh, there it is.
Don't worry about that, bro.
Yeah. And so those doors can open up quickly. And then some are lonely.
Right.
And they reach out to somebody they used to know to see how they're doing. And then there's the thing called OnlyFans. Someone told me about this. And people get engaged with men and women online, and they can have like a conversation, and people do all kinds of things, and you don't even realize that you're getting all caught up with this particular person. And obviously you paying their bills, but you can get yourself so engaged and so caught up in this cyber world, or text messaging or sexting.
And the thing is you get caught up, and we need to dig into the root of all of these things. It really boils down to either an obsession, an addiction, or an unmet need. At the end of the day, maybe it's a fear and insecurity. You need to dig and figure out what it is that draws you to want to have any type of infidelity. Whether it be big or small, whether it be cyber, whether it be emotional, or whether it be, romantic. Infidelity
and stuff,
right? I mean, cyber. You even think about too, like porn. Just straight up porn, watching porn. That is a form of infidelity. You sexting, with someone, that is a form of infidelity. And some people think, oh, well, we're not touching, so it's not infidelity. Oh, it is, because you're emotionally attaching yourself to someone in a different way on another level. So sometimes the emotional and mental infidelity is worse than the actual physical infidelity, because the emotional part is what keeps you. So we need to just be very careful and always keep ourselves guarded. And most importantly, have these conversations with the people that you're dating, you're thinking about dating. If you're married and you have not had this conversation, make sure you have this conversation. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, Jomo and Charmaine, please give us a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. If you're on Facebook, please share this video. This is very good. We got to get this information out, okay? Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Remember,
love, laugh, and learn.
God bless y'all. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.